Thank you for watching the Comedy at the Creek podcast, brought to you by Country Creek Reception Hall. I'm your host, Jason Pierpoint. Today's guest is Paige Lynne.
So, all right, Paige Lynne. Thank you very much for coming to the Comedy at the Creek podcast. You know, it was really cool having you out again because this is your second time around, right?
Yep. Thanks for having me. I was really excited to do this because it's always an awesome crowd that I've experienced and heard about. So
Yeah. Well, we're on number 7 now, so you know people keep coming back, so we keep doing it. It's a lot of fun, you know.
seems like it's been more than that.
Yeah. Well, no, it's only been this is 7. We got September. That's booked, and then we got November, and then that'll be the last show for the year.
Oh my God! Okay.
So, and then I think next year, basically, we're gonna do like probably January through May.
Okay.
And then I don't think we're gonna do it through the summertime because
Right.
it seems to be people are up north during the summertime, and then you got that time during, you know, schools getting back in towards the later of the year, and then earlier in the year, schools getting out. So you have all the graduation parties. So I was like, you know what? People want to have something to do, you know, cheap night out, you know, in the wintertime. So I'm like, let's just do it then.
Right.
It'll be easier to
Awesome.
go. But so what have you been up to since you were back here? You were here in March, right?
Yeah, I think it was about then. Yeah, I've just been working on my material. I've got some new jokes that I'll be doing tonight, which I'm really excited about. Especially since I get 10 minutes and not 5 or 3 or whatever. And then last weekend, I got a guest spot at the Ann Arbor Showcase with Mike Jeter, so that was really fun. And then just getting ready to do the Detroit House Comedy with Mike Bonner. So I'm have a guest spot, but it's another 10-minute spot, so I get to work on my material and see how it works out.
That's great. What do you usually do? Like your average, you know, slot time? What do you do, like 5 minutes normally or 7 minutes normally?
Yeah, it just depends where it's at. It's like 5 or 7, and then, you know, you're always trying to figure out what you want to do. I mean, I'm not an expert comedian, but it's like I'm still green, but it's like I'm learning that now, you know, what are you going to do where, and, you know, depending on how many minutes and stuff like that. And it's stressful because you don't want to go over time. You know, a lot of, like, I know Ann Arbor Showcase, you cannot go over a second. So it's like, you know, and you're always worried about that. So it's nice to have a longer set where I can relax a little bit.
That's probably where some of that experience comes in, you know, when you get that light and you're just like, okay, all right, am I going to get through this little particular, you know, bit that I'm working on right now, or am I going to go over? That's got to definitely be stressful when you have places like that are just so sticklers about it, you know?
Yeah, and then you always have, like, my last joke is my favorite joke. So it's like, oh, my God, can I get that in a minute, or am I going to run over, you know? So
like that Led Zeppelin Stairway to Heaven, you know, they got to get that in at the very last because they know that's the one that's going to kick everybody's ass.
yeah, exactly. So,
You know?
yeah.
So how many years are you in? You said you're relatively new?
I started out about 10 years ago, which I could kick myself in the butt for because I started with some other comedians that now are headlining.
Yeah.
And I just think if I would have stuck with it, I might be at that level. I don't know. But I went through some rough times, and I took some classes. I did comedy 10 years ago for maybe a year. It just didn't go well. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Got tired of memorizing everything and writing all the time. And then my mom passed away she passed away about 3 years ago. And then about a year and a half ago, I'm like, you know, I got to do comedy. I got to do something to make me laugh and focus. And so I got back into it. And now I love it.
That's
I love
great.
it. And I'm starting to understand it a little better, you know, what it takes to keep trying to pursue this comedy. And I do it for fun. I'm not, you know, that's all I'm doing it for is fun. I mean, and I'll take it wherever it goes from there. So.
Well, you know, you get busy with life and everything, and then you got to have that, you know, some kind of spark to get back into it, you know, if it's something that you really love to do. I mean, I've been playing music forever. You know, I get them low spots where it's just like, I don't even know if I want to do this anymore. And then all of a sudden, you know, you write some song or you write something and you're just like, okay, this can get me back in the mood, you know, and
Yeah, and it's like today I was over at the Comedy Castle working on some stuff, and I'm thinking, what am I doing? Like, what the heck am I doing? Like,
Yeah.
it's like you question yourself, right? You're like, is my stuff even funny? And, and that it's that doubt too, but you're like, well, it must be because I'm doing it. So
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Well, I'm the type of person that, when bad things happen in my life, like you were saying, lost a parent or whatever, sometimes people think it's kind of weird when comedians use that as, a crutch, to get yourself through tough times like that. So is that the type of person you are too? Like
It
try to
is, and
make as much light as you can of a bad situation.
It is, and it keeps me out of trouble. It keeps me out of the bars. It keeps me out of, it keeps me focused. So I'm not doing stupid things. Otherwise I'd be out doing something crazy. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
when you did start the comedy, getting into comedy, how do you go about writing comedy? Are you like a long form person, or you just sit down joke after joke after joke, or?
No, I don't. I can't force myself to write. A lot of mine is on life experiences, but with kind of a twist and a stretch, So there is some truth to most of my jokes, or just something I observe, or I hear something and I just kind of play with it. But most of it has a little bit of truth to it.
Yeah.
So, and it's I like a little bit longer jokes. I wish that I was, that I could write a lot of tags and have it as punchy as but I'm still working on that.
Yeah.
I'm still green, so it's going to take a while to get there.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed that's kind of the toughest part, because I'm only going on about a year now in comedy and everything. So, that's part of the reason why I did this whole thing, was mostly as a cheat to try to get people, from all different, eras of comedy. I get people up here that do 30 years, and I get people up here that have done it, 3 months. So I get to kind of pick and choose and see, and take a little bit of, experience from everybody to try to build on my own.
Yeah, I think you're doing pretty good for only a year. I mean,
it's fun, it's a lot of fun. So, I enjoy meeting new people. I've always enjoyed meeting new people. So it's great, to have all these different comedians from all over the state of Michigan,
right,
come out. But you're primarily from, I know you said you work a lot in Lansing, but you are primarily, you live in Detroit area, right?
I live in Farmington, but my career has taken me, I've been in Lansing for the last 2 years.
Okay.
And then, but it's been great because I've been able to try out some of these other, open mics and events and stuff like that, which has been great. So, but yeah, there's a lot down in the Detroit area too that, I'm kind of missing out on it. So.
Oh yeah, when you're up here, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, but I'm from the Farmington area.
Okay. Yeah, I noticed. I see on your schedule every once in a while. I try to keep track of everybody, that comes through and what they're up to and stuff. So I see some of the places you float around. Like some of the main spots down there. Mark Ridley's, and then you have One Night Stands. That's out in that area too?
Yeah, I've
right?
never been there, but Ann Arbor Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase, Cottage Inn in Ann Arbor has a comedy club. That's really nice. It's really quaint and small, but they do it I think they're doing it now twice a month, and they're only doing it once a month. So that's another club that I really like to perform at.
That's cool. That's cool. I've been trying to sneak into a few of those places down there, and I haven't had much luck. I've gone out to Canton Brew Works and, got to work with Ned out there, on a few nights. And then I go out to Grand Rapids quite a bit, out there. Brian, he hits me up from the Sunday Funnies. So I went out there and got my ass kicked by C-Dub.
Oh, I don't know if I believe that. So.
Oh, he's amazing. Yeah. He definitely deserved to go on to the quarterfinals, but there's a few of them tonight that are going to be heading out to the quarterfinals.
Okay.
I know Michael, he's going to be here tonight, and I think he's performing there tomorrow.
The one in Grand Rapids?
Yeah, have you ever done that before?
No, because I got the one, the LA Challenge stuff that's going on right now in Royal Oak as well, so I know a lot of people that have been.
Did you get a chance to jump on that?
No, I didn't try to do that yet.
How do they go about doing that? Is that just you sign up or whatever, and they
I
have
think you just call. I don't know who you call. It might be Bill Bushart. I'm not sure. I think he's the one that heads that all up, and then they put you up or whatever. So I don't know much about it, but I know a lot of people show up to those. So
it's kind of shocking. I really was not anticipating the amount of comedy that's in the state of Michigan. like it's just blown my mind, the amount of comedians that are here and the amount of places that you can play and just the venues and the bars and the open mics, and it's just like, holy cow, you know. And
I
that's
think so too. And then you hear people say, oh, back in the day, you know, like 20 years ago, there were so many clubs. And then I'm thinking, it seems like there's a lot of clubs now. So I don't know.
I've talked to a few people and they're like, I don't know really where to play. And I'm like, are you serious?
Yeah, I know. Just talk to other comedians and you'll figure it out. So,
Yeah.
or just read their Facebook page, and you know, that's what I started doing. I started looking where everybody else was, and I'd take a snapshot of it or whatever, and then I'd be like, okay, let's try this club, let's try that one, let's try, you know. And I just started trying to hit them up. So
That was what I was doing when I first started this show, is I was getting on people's Facebook page and I was poaching all the comedians that are coming to all the open mics.
Yeah.
And I'm like, just sending messages out to everybody that I could possibly imagine, be like, hey, you want to come play this show? And they're like, who the fuck are
I know. Yeah, right.
you? No. So where are the big places that you really want to play? Like, what's on the top of your bucket list, you know, that you really want to go out and play, and venue-wise?
Yeah, that's a good question, because I don't think about that a lot, you know? I mean, I feel blessed just to have done what I've already done, which isn't much. But, gosh, I don't know. I would like to do some more podcasts. I have some friends that are doing that, that there's been talk about that. So, I mean, I don't even know if I'm good at it, but I'm willing to try.
We're rocking it here tonight.
I'm
you know?
willing to try. So I would like some more of my funny to come out, but, you know, be a little bit natural. But this is a little nerve-wracking, so.
It'd be all
Yeah,
right. Like I
yeah.
said, it's just sitting down, shooting the shit, you know, finding out about people, you know, and what kind of stuff they're into. That's just it.
Yeah.
It's just a conversation. I mean, probably, who knows who will watch this anyway, but
I know.
I throw it out there for fun.
Right.
Just to get, you know, try to get a little bit of promotion for people or whatnot.
That's
but,
awesome.
But it's cool. So, you know, have you always been a comedy fan, like your whole life, or did you get into
I
it
really
at a certain
haven't.
age?
That's the weird thing. I really haven't. My dad was a funny person. I mean, he was funny, and I was always kind of quiet. You know, speaking in public was my biggest fear. But I always liked, you know, laughing, and I liked. Mostly just laughter. I didn't really watch comedy, but I do have some people like Chris Rock that I still love. I know he's, you know, but I just love his style. Eddie Murphy. I know it's like the old timers are the ones I like, you know, Wanda Sykes, things like, you know, I'm not real up on all the new comedians, you know, probably more just local people that I watch and enjoy. And
There's a lot of them.
yeah.
There's a lot of them out there. I seen on Facebook earlier today. I said Ree was giving you a shout out.
Oh yeah, I didn't see
Yeah,
that.
shout out to Ree. Hey.
Yeah, I was dealing with the leak in my house, so I didn't get to.
Yeah, you were
So
saying
I missed
something,
that.
saying something about that. I got to deal with the insurance companies.
Yeah.
Well, that might be a little bit of material down the road, talking
Right.
about your house flooding out.
Yeah, they could be tearing through it and everything else. So got a little bit of anxiety over that right now.
Yeah, it's always something, right?
Right, it is. It is.
Definitely have to jot down all the experience from it, and then, you know, see what kind of shit you can bitch and complain about later on
Right,
stage.
right. So thank God we had this tonight. So I needed it. It was either that or get drunk. So comedy would be
Well,
better
hey,
for me.
do a little bit of both here
Yeah.
tonight. Why not? Well, that's cool. So yeah, so that's definitely all the old school comedians. So if you really didn't have a huge, like, you weren't a fanatic about comedy, so where was the spark that just said, okay, I want to get on a stage and do? Did you do like
I don't know.
public speaking or something? And
No, that's what was my biggest fear. And I think it was just like, you know, I did go to some comedy shows and that when I was younger, and I just kind of admired what they did, you know. But
Yeah.
then I thought it was all off the top of their head, you know, like they just made that up and stuff. And I'm thinking, God, I could never do that, you know. And I always just kind of wanted to,
yeah.
you know, get in a class or try it or something, and then just, you know, things went the way they did, and I thought, you know what, I'm signing up. I signed up for Bill Bushart's class, and I've taken it about 100 times, and but I like it because it keeps you mentally, you know, engaged in comedy, and you're meeting other people, and, you know.
Well,
that
you listen to comedians like Joe Rogan. You know, they talk about comedy classes and how hard it must be to actually sit down and teach people how to do comedy, because it's such a personal thing. You know, I mean, I would imagine there's guidelines, you know, to what you can do to prepare yourself to do something like that. But as of like showing somebody like how to do this thing. I would imagine I kind of agree with them. It's probably really hard.
Yeah.
But, so what is your experience with a comedy class?
I think it's just more pulling it out of you, like it's in you. The ideas and the premise are in you, and it's just a matter of fact of pulling it out of you.
Yeah.
I work with seniors every single day. That's why I'm here in Lansing, and I'm like, why can't I think of senior jokes? Why can't I? But there are. It's just regular life things that, and I did one today when I when I was at Mark Ridley's, and it was a true experience, and I thought, I'm just going to do it, and it was a true story, and everybody was laughing because it was a senior joke. It's like they have a lot of these little they want to know every day, like, what time is the mail coming? I mean, I want to know what's in the fucking mail. I mean, what is in the mail that's other than a bill that's going to come? Like, why are you so excited about that,
That is true. I guess I never would have thought about that.
Is there a lottery ticket or something in there? I don't know. I still have yet to figure that out, and I've been doing this for 5 years, so.
It's like most all your money probably goes to either the assisted living home that you're living in, or, I'm dealing with that with my wife right now, her mother, we're about ready to put her in a place like that.
Right,
so
exactly.
Like, what would you really look forward to other than the shit that's going on right in front of your face
or the
every day?
mail. It's like, why do they think I know when the mailman comes? I mean, do I have a tracker? I mean, it's like, I don't know when he's coming. It's like...
Right. You're like, go sit down, put your teeth in.
Right.
Find something to fucking
go
read.
for a walk.
No doubt.
Yeah.
So when they go to those classes, do they sit down and tell you, kind of give you pointers on how to take like a concept and like set it down and work with it and pull things out of it? Or what is the main component of a comedy class?
Well, it's kind of interesting because it's more just getting on stage.
Okay.
It's getting on stage, being comfortable, putting your ideas out there, growing with them. I know Bill Bushart will tweak things, so will Joel, who teaches the advanced class, but it's like they pull it out of you.
Yeah, okay.
So, and then you just start talking, and you realize that that's funny. It's real life experiences that, are actually funny. So
Yeah. People, have the misconception. They're like, well, I can get up there and talk. I'm like,
yeah, no.
Go ahead and give it a try.
Yeah, no.
I have a lot of people I know that are really, really funny people, but I tell you what, you put a microphone in their hand and put them on a stage and they're done.
I know. Or they say, my friends tell me I'm hilarious, and they go up and they're like,
Yeah.
I thought this was easier than I thought it, and you really have to put some work in, so.
Yeah, write 2 minutes of comedy and come back and talk to me later.
Right, yeah, and then rewrite it and rewrite it. And
Yeah. Well, one of the things I want to talk to you about, every podcast that I've had so far since, the first one, I've had all these guys. Everybody always talks about the male comedians and the female comedians. So I really wanted to have a female perspective from the comedy scene to come and talk to me and give me a little bit of inside. What is it? It's got to be a little bit different because it's such a male-dominated place. Is comedy. You look everywhere, and there's great female comedians, but I thought it was going to be a problem getting female comedians to come out here, and some of the females have been way funnier than the guys.
Yeah, well, I don't know, because I've only been doing it now again for like a year and a half, and it seems like there's a lot of female comedians, but yet I hear that there's not enough. So, but I have spoken to, it was just recently that I spoke to a headliner, and he was headlining at a club, and he said, and there were, males opening up for him, and he's like, I really want a female.
Yeah.
So I thought that was encouraging. I don't know the reason. I didn't ask, but I thought, wow, that's encouraging. It's kind of an eye-opener. But I don't know. I just think females have a different perspective on life, and it's good to hear that. Like, there's this one girl, she's like 19, and she's taking one of the classes right now, and it's just, I get excited to hear what her perspective of things are now, like from school shootings and, because we don't know what that is. So same thing from like a woman's point of view, how do they see the jokes in different situations and life experiences and things like that. So, that's all I can really say. I don't know. I mean, I feel like as far as getting opportunities, it's been a little bit of a struggle, but then yet I've had a lot of great opportunities so far. So I can't really complain.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it probably varies depending on where you're at, too. I mean, you get some places where you just got these, some of these club owners that are just these old school, the guys from back in the day, and then they just say, oh, female comedians aren't funny, blah, 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 blah. Because that was why I was curious about it, because I've read some articles about that, and I've heard other comedians, the guys talking about, there just isn't any funny female comics, and I'm just like, you guys are out of your fucking mind.
yeah. Yeah, no, there's some good female comedians, and there's some, I know that you've had some here, the ones that are still, working to, learn the craft and that, but, some of the new people are funny. I mean, you have these newer people, and I think I enjoy them sometimes just as much as I would. I know it sounds crazy, but, an experienced comedian, so.
Yeah. Oh, it's been a blast out here I got people that are in here that have done comedy for 30 years, and I get one that has only done comedy for a week. It's great, and it's been some of the ones that have only been doing comedy for a few months I'm not going to say they're better than some of the ones that have done it for 30 years, but, I think some of these comics that have been doing it for so long are just kind of set in their ways.
Right.
And they just keep rolling with the same thing over and over. And I think they're so scared to take on some of the new, pop political stuff or, the social stuff because back in their day, they were like, I could say whatever I want. And nowadays they're afraid that they can't.
Yeah, I know it.
So where's your line when it comes to, working with material like that? Are you, you kind of sketch that line a little bit of, pulling people back and going, oh, why the fuck would she say something like that?
I don't know. I don't do a lot of political things. I kind of stay away from that, but I do have like a dark joke. I know you've seen that. You'll see it tonight, and it's like, I mean, it's serious, but yet it's, you have to make fun with some of those things because it's so depressing that you hear these bad things all the time. And if you can just put like a little bit different perspective on it and put a little bit of light on a situation, to me it's like, it just doesn't make everything look so bad all the time, so
every time I seem to think it's lightening up a little bit better, then I'll see something else that'll come out and I'll just be like, really, that's that big of a deal?
Yeah.
You're really gonna throw a fit about that? Seriously?
Right.
There's been some odd ones lately, but well, that's cool. I'm glad that, you have an open mind when it comes to that. Like I was saying earlier in the podcast, I'm like, that's the only way that I can get through terrible times in my life is just be able to laugh about it.
Right.
And it's just like, yeah. So if you don't laugh about it, you might as well just give up.
Right.
As far as I'm concerned, it's like the last bastion. That's the last frontier of being able to say whatever you want is get on this stage and yell and scream at somebody.
Right. I know. Well, and, and also you can just kind of make up your own, like even though there's truth to the jokes, you could just say whatever you want, make it your own joke and stretch it as far as you want to. And it's funny when someone comes up after the show and they're like, is that really true? Like, they want to know, did that really happen? And I'm like, well, maybe a portion of it happened.
Most of it, yeah. You got to embellish a little. I mean, if you don't embellish a little, then that's some of the comedy's not there.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you what portion was true. You can figure that out yourself. But,
It's like I got that part. There's a part in my bit where I talk about putting little pieces of wood in my asshole. Like, that actually didn't happen. I'm just kind of embellishing on that a little bit.
Right.
It's like
exactly.
I wasn't actually at the urgent care at 2:00 in the morning.
Right. Exactly.
Got to take that real life thing and put that little bit of spin on it. It makes it a lot of fun.
Yeah. But then I do the same thing. I listen and I go, did that happen? Like, did that really happen to them? You just never know. So.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
So, what exactly do you have? You got a lot of stuff coming up soon. I know you mentioned the Detroit House of Comedy. That's on August 27th, right?
Mm-hmm, Sunday.
Okay. So you said that's a feature, huh?
No, I'm not featuring. I got a guest spot. No, I'm not ready. But you know what? Even though I'm doing this for fun, I mean, I would love to do that someday. I don't know when that will be, but I also haven't emceed a lot because I haven't had a lot of opportunity, but I've been getting a lot of guest spots. So you know what? I'll take that.
Yeah. Well, you hear that, you assholes out there?
Yeah.
Paige Lynne. get a hold of Paige. She wants to do some feature spots and some
Yeah,
headlining spots and some hosting spots.
I won't mention any names, but I need some more MC gigs so I can put my time in, and all that. So
how much time do you actually have where you're really, really confident of going out and doing it? Do you think you
how
could
many
go
minutes?
out? Yeah.
Oh, I probably have 15 right now. Yeah, and so I mean I have to pick and choose what I want to do, of course, but and I've got some new stuff that I'm getting ready to work on, so I'm kind of excited about that too.
Probably like every other comedian, you just got piles and piles of notebooks and notes and shit.
No,
everywhere.
I don't have that. A lot of it's in my head, and then I just start thinking about it. But I do have a lot of material in books and so forth from the past that I thought, I'm not going to do that, and I find myself going, well, where's that joke? I want to try and do something with that now. So
yeah. You ever find anything that you wrote a long, long time ago that you dug back out that worked for you?
I'm trying to think. Not recently.
Just ditched it all.
No, it's there. It's there, but it's just when is it going to be right to pull it out? So I'm about to do some stuff on anxiety, and like you saw earlier, when we were talking with you and your wife, that the anxiety of having a leak in your house and deal. So I'm going to be doing some stuff on anxiety and stuff like that. So OCD and all that crap. So because I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah, for sure. But. Well, cool. We'll make it short and sweet today. I got to know, Paige Lynne here. We're out here at Comedy at the Creek 7. Comedy at the Creek 8 is going to be on September, 23rd.
Yeah.
I think I do this every single podcast where I'm
I
just
know.
like, you have so many of these dates in your head, and you're just like,
I know,
can't
which
fucking
date was
remember
that?
what
I know.
date is what.
Yeah.
But so if people want to get a hold of you, like we talked about a few minutes ago, what is your media presence? Where are you at on the social medias and all that?
Well, mainly on Facebook, but I go by Paige Lynne. So like I said, I'm still green, so I'm working on getting, things together so that I can promote myself a little bit more. I'm kind of not real good with that, so but
you're preaching to the choir here.
Yeah.
I'm telling you what, I literally everything that I do for this show I do on Facebook.
Yeah.
And then the podcast literally goes on YouTube, and that's it.
Right.
That's all I do.
Well, I lost my phone last week, and I'm like, how the heck am I going to get a hold of everybody? And I'm thinking, I don't have their numbers. I'm like, Facebook. If I lose it for good, I'll just look everybody up on Facebook, and so thank God for Facebook, right?
I know. You get the younger kids that are in all the Instagram and whatever the fuck they call Twitter now. I don't even know what all that is, but
they still have that.
I would imagine so. Some billionaire out there bought it out, and I don't know if Elon Musk owns it still. Whatever.
Right.
That shit's confusing to me.
Yeah,
I just try to keep it short and sweet,
right,
and straight when it comes to that shit. Because if I had every single one of those stupid, social media apps on my phone,
I know,
you wouldn't be able to breathe. You just be every ding dang ding dong. It's like,
well, and I think a lot of people, you see a lot of headliners in that, or people that have their own, they're doing their own comedy shows and stuff like that. They're all on Facebook.
Yeah,
that's how you hear about all this. So I still believe in Facebook.
I do too. It's kind of the old school, format. But hey, everybody's still people still get a hold of me. I get a hold of all the comedians.
Right.
I get a hold of all my friends and my family and everybody on it.
Yeah.
So it's
well,
like,
that's how I tell people get in touch with you. How do you get on that? And I go, well, just call Jason. I would look up Jason on Facebook, and he'll respond to you. So.
People usually do a pretty good job of getting a hold of me. I haven't had to reach out an awful lot lately. The word of mouth goes around. People get a hold of me now, so that's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad. Gives me more time to be able to concentrate on the things I need to concentrate on instead of just spending all my time like some kind of fucking ex-girlfriend trying to get a hold of people.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, please call me back.
Yeah.
But, well, once again, Paige, thank you very much for coming out.
Thanks for having me.
We're so excited to see you out here. It'll be your second time around, and we're definitely going to be more down the road. We definitely want to have you back. So thank you for being on the podcast, and get a hold.